The sky over New Nairobi was filled with silence, not the peaceful kind, but the kind that came before something terrible. Every screen, every speaker, every eye was tuned to one thing: the Galactic Council's broadcast. It was Tribute Day. The city had changed a lot since the old Earth wars. Tall towers gleamed under a filtered sun. Machines flew quietly between buildings, but beneath the clean streets and shining tech, people were afraid. They remembered the last Tribute Day, and the one before that. At the city center, in Unity Square, thousands of people stood shoulder to shoulder. No one spoke. The giant screen above the square lit up. A low hum rolled through the crowd. The council's seal appeared, a spinning silver ring surrounded by stars. Then came the voice, cold, smooth, too perfect to be human. People of Earth, the time has come. The council calls for its due. Gasps and whispers rippled through the crowd. Parents held their children closer. Soldiers straightened their backs. No one knew what the demand would be this time. The screen shifted, revealing High Arbiter Threxvallen. Tall, silver-skinned, eyes like polished stone. His voice carried power, pride, and no hint of mercy. This cycle, your tribute shall be 10,000 human beings. Strong, skilled, and ready to serve the galactic effort. They will be honored among the stars. A pause. The words hit like a blade. 10,000 lives. Taken. Again. You have 7 rotations to comply. Refusal will be met with correction. The screen blinked off. The silence broke. People cried out. Some screamed in anger, others in fear. A woman collapsed. A child asked, "Why us?" No one answered. Beneath the city, deep underground, in a hidden bunker lit by red lights and old cables, Jace Orion watched the same message. He didn't flinch. He didn't speak. He just stared at the blank screen for a long moment after the broadcast ended. His jaw clenched. His hands tightened into fists. 10,000, he muttered. Again. Jace was no stranger to loss. Years ago, the council took his younger sister in a similar tribute. She never returned. No one ever did. That day broke him. He left the Earth Defense Corps, disappeared underground, and built something new. The Reckoners. Now, they would act. He walked through the narrow hallway, past rows of flickering monitors and armed rebels. People nodded at him. They knew the look in his eyes. It was time. Jace stood in front of an old transmitter, patched together from scraps. He turned it on. Static filled the room, then cleared. "This is Jace Orion," he said, voice steady and clear. "To the people of Earth, and the council who watches from above." He paused. "We are not tribute. We are not tools. We are not yours." He leaned forward, eyes burning. "You want 10,000 lives. Then prepare for a reckoning." He cut the feed. Behind him, Lyra Tanaka smiled. Desram cracked his knuckles. Mako Elan nodded. The fight had begun. The hidden base beneath New Nairobi buzzed with quiet energy. After Jace's broadcast, there was no turning back. The council would come. The world would react. And Jace Orion needed a team ready to fight, not run. He stood in the middle of the command room, eyes on the dusty star map glowing on the wall. The lights flickered slightly, powered by old solar banks. But it was enough. The Reckoners had survived in the shadows. Now, they would rise. Lyra Tanaka was the first to arrive. She slid into the room without a sound, carrying a satchel full of tools and a datapad. Lyra had once been a council systems engineer, a genius with machines, but after learning what the tribute system really was, she vanished and found her way to Jace. "Council traffic's already increased," she said, dropping her bag on the table. "They're scanning for your signal. We've got maybe 2 days before they triangulate the location." Jace nodded. "We'll be gone by then." Lyra raised an eyebrow. "Gone where?" To the stars, he said. But first, we need Des. Desram was harder to find. He lived alone in the ruins of old Geneva, surrounded by broken satellites and rusting war machines. He was a former mercenary, big and broad, with a sharp tongue and a quicker trigger. Jace flew out in a cloaked shuttle, just him and Lyra. The air in old Geneva was thick with dust and silence. Jace found Des sitting on a half-buried turret, drinking something foul and homemade. "I saw your message," Des said without looking up. "Bold, stupid, loud. Are you in?" Jace asked. Des stood, cracked his neck, and smirked. "Wouldn't miss it." Back at the base, Dr. Mako Elan was waiting. Thin, serious, always calm. Once a top council biologist, he left after learning how human volunteers were really used in alien labs. He didn't speak much, but when he did, it mattered. "We'll need more than just speeches," Mako said. "They'll send drones, warships, maybe worse." Jace looked at his team. 4 people against an empire, but each one of them had seen too much, lost too much, and now they had a plan. They gathered around the star map. Jace pointed to a glowing dot near Earth's orbit, the Council's tribute processing station. That's where the Taken are sorted and shipped off. It's also where they store high-level diplomatic ships. One of those ships has clearance codes. If we take it, we can fly straight to the Council's main tribunal station. "Suicide," Des muttered. "Only if we fail," Jace said. Lyra tapped the screen. "Security will be tight, but I can jam their comms. 10 minutes, tops." "We won't need more," Jace replied. "We get in, grab the ship, and leave. Quiet, fast, clean." Mako leaned forward. "And once we're inside the tribunal," Jace's voice dropped, "we show the galaxy the truth. The tribute isn't peacekeeping. It's slavery, fuel for a war machine." Everyone was silent for a moment. Then Lyra nodded. "I'll prep the gear." Des grinned. "Been a while since I shot something important." Mako adjusted his glasses. "I'll write the speech. If we're risking everything, the galaxy should listen." That night, the base was alive with movement. Weapons were checked, old flight suits patched, maps memorized. Jace stood alone in a small corner room. On the wall was a picture, faded, folded at the edges. A young girl smiled back at him. His sister, Aria. She'd been 12 when the council took her. He stared at the photo for a long time. "This is for you," he whispered. Then he turned and joined his team. The Reckoners were ready. The sky above Earth shimmered with the quiet hum of orbiting satellites. Hidden among them, the Council Tribute Processing Station floated like a giant mechanical spider, its arms reaching out toward Earth's surface. From this station, thousands had been taken, sorted, tagged, and shipped away. No one ever returned. Now, Jace Orion and his team were going there, not to submit, but to steal. Inside their cloaked shuttle, silence ruled. Lyra sat at the controls, fingers flying over the console. Her eyes were sharp, focused. "We're closing in," she said. "I'm scrambling their scanners. They won't see us until we're right on top of them." Des stood beside her, checking his rifle for the 3rd time. "Let's hope they're still asleep when we knock." Jace nodded but said nothing. He stared out the small window at the dark metal station growing larger with each second. His heart beat steady, controlled. This was just the beginning. The shuttle locked onto the docking bay of the processing station. A soft clang echoed through the ship. "We're in," Lyra whispered. The doors slid open. The team moved fast and silent, like shadows. The docking bay was quiet. 2 guards, both aliens in dull gray armor. Des took them down before they could speak. No noise, no alarms. "Split up," Jace ordered. "Lyra, get the access codes. Des, Mako with me." They moved through the cold steel corridors, past locked doors, and blinking lights. Everything was too clean. Too controlled. Jace hated it. Then they found it. A locked room labeled Human Resources, transfer logs. Lyra met them moments later, breathless but grinning. Got in. Pulled every file I could. They entered the room together. Mako activated a nearby console. The screen flickered to life. Rows of names, ages, status. Jace's eyes scanned the list. Each name carried a label. Approved for transport. Biological asset. Experimental subject. No one was going home. No one was honored. They were being used, tested, sold, or worse. Mako's face turned pale. This is genocide. Lyra spoke quietly, and it's happening on hundreds of planets. Earth is just one. Jace stepped back. His hands trembled slightly, but his voice stayed firm. We're showing this to the galaxy. Suddenly, a red light flashed above them. Sirens blared. They found us, Des growled. We need to move. Now. They ran. Alarms echoed through the station. Guards swarmed the halls. Jace led the way, heart pounding, mind racing. The mission had changed, no longer just about stealing a ship. They had proof now. Truth. And someone didn't want that getting out. The Reckoners burst into the hangar. Their cloaked shuttle was surrounded by enemy drones. Dozens of mechanical eyes turned their way. Lyra shouted, "New plan." She pointed to a different vessel, sleek, silver, marked with the Council's seal. That one's a diplomat ship. I still have the override codes. They ran for it. Lasers fired. Sparks flew. Des covered their backs, shouting over the noise. Jace reached the ship first. He turned and saw a small girl huddled behind a crate, her hands over her ears. He froze. For a second, he saw Aria, his sister. "Go," Des yelled. "I got her." Des scooped the girl up and dove onto the ship behind them. Lyra slammed the doors shut. Engines roared to life. Mako activated the stealth drive. In a blink, they were gone. Silence filled the ship. Jace sat down, staring at the little girl asleep beside Des. "How old is she?" he asked. "Maybe 10. Do we know her name?" Des shook his head. "Does it matter? She's ours now." Jace nodded slowly. "We're not just fighting for truth anymore," he said. "We're fighting for them." He turned to Lyra. "Set course for the Tribunal Station. It's time to show the galaxy what the Council really is." Lyra entered the coordinates. The stars outside shifted. Ahead of them, the heart of the enemy waited. The stars stretched and bent as the stolen diplomat ship tore through hyperspace. Inside, the atmosphere was tense. Every second brought them closer to the Galactic Council Tribunal Station, the central hub of power, orbiting a dead moon known only as Theta Prime. This was where the Council ruled, where decisions were made, where countless worlds were silenced with laws dressed as peace. And now, Jace Orion and the Reckoners were heading straight into its core. ETA. 11 minutes, Lyra said from the pilot's seat. Her voice was calm, but her hands moved quickly across the console. "Once we drop out of hyperspace, we'll have a short window to land without raising suspicion." "Stealth still holding?" Jace asked. "For now," she said, "but this ship isn't designed to hide forever. They'll start checking IDs soon." Jace stood behind her, arms crossed. He wore a council uniform they had taken from the station. Clean, sharp, official. The rest of the team wore similar disguises. Des looked at himself and grunted. "I look like a walking lie." "That's the point," Jace said. "They won't look twice if we look like them." Mako sat at the back, reviewing the files they had stolen. Evidence of human exploitation, secret research, and planetary abuse. The truth the galaxy needed to hear. He glanced at Jace. "You ready for this?" Jace didn't answer right away. "Yes," he said finally. "We only get one shot." The ship dropped out of hyperspace. In front of them stood the Tribunal Station, A massive rotating city in space, shaped like a black wheel, its surface lit with thousands of glowing windows and hangar bays. Council patrol ships drifted around it like watchful hawks. Lyra activated the diplomatic beacon. A coded message pulsed from the ship. "This is Envoy Vessel 9C2, returning from Earth Sector," Lyra said smoothly into the comm. A council voice responded seconds later. "Robotic. Distant. Clearance confirmed. Docking Bay 37. Proceed." Lyra exhaled. "We're in." The ship slid into the bay, quiet and unnoticed. The hatch opened. Cool, recycled air rushed in. They stepped out. Inside the tribunal station, everything was bright, sterile, and silent. Clean lines, white walls, and no sound except the soft hum of machines. Guards passed them without a glance. Council workers, in long robes, walked past holding data tablets. No one questioned them. The disguises worked. They made their way to the central broadcast core, the communications room where council messages were sent to the entire galaxy. That was their target. But halfway there, a mechanical voice echoed through the station. "Security sweep in progress. All personnel must report to designated holding zones." Lyra cursed under her breath. "They're checking ships." "Then we move now," Jace said. "Mako, you ready?" Mako handed Jace a small silver drive. "This contains everything. Plug it into the core, and the whole galaxy sees it." Jace took it, tucking it into his jacket. Des tapped his gun. "Time for the loud part." Jace shook his head. "No, not yet. We get the message out first. Then we fight if we have to." They reached the broadcast core, a tall, circular room filled with glowing data lines and a floating platform at the center. A single council technician sat at the console. Jace walked forward with authority. "Clear this room. Now." The technician looked up, confused. "But I wasn't informed off." Des stepped forward, cracking his knuckles. The tech paled and ran. Lyra moved fast, pulling open the main panel. "Give me the drive." Jace handed it to her. She slid it in. The screens blinked. Then, slowly, the broadcast went live. Across the galaxy, on ships, on colonies, on war-torn worlds and quiet stations, screens lit up with Jace's face. He spoke clearly. "This is Jace Orion. Earth was told to give 10,000 lives as tribute. But that's not all the Council takes. We found the truth. They're not protecting us. They're using us, turning us into slaves, experiments, weapons. They lie to you, to all of us." The screen shifted, showing footage, files, images, logs, proof. Then Jace's voice again. "This ends now. We are not your tribute. We are your reckoning." Alarms exploded across the tribunal station. Red lights flashed. Security bots swarmed from walls and ceilings. "They're coming," Lyra said, drawing her weapon. "Let them," Des growled. Jace turned to the team. "We hold them off long enough to make sure the galaxy sees this." They took positions as doors burst open. Jace gripped his weapon. "This is the fight we were made for." The Council's elite guards stormed into the broadcast room, weapons raised, eyes cold and without fear. Their silver armor gleamed under the flashing red lights. These weren't patrol bots. These were trained enforcers, silent, fast, and deadly. Jace Orion raised his weapon and fired the first shot. The battle began. Des and Lyra took cover behind a console. Mako ducked behind a support beam, still clutching the backup data drive. Jace moved fast, firing precise shots, each one meant to delay, not destroy. They didn't need to win this fight, just buy enough time. Lyra shouted over the blaster fire. "The broadcast is still running. Every second it stays live, more people see the truth." "Then hold the line," Jace said. Explosions rocked the walls. Smoke filled the room. The lights flickered. Des took out 2 guards in quick bursts. "They're sending more." Jace's earpiece buzzed. A cold voice cut through the static. "Jace Orion, surrender and you may live long enough to watch Earth burn. High Arbiter Threx Valen." Jace's face hardened. "Keep the stream going. I'm going to finish this." He broke off from the others and sprinted through the back corridor. It led to the council chamber, the heart of the tribunal station, the place where the council passed judgment on entire worlds. The chamber doors slid open silently. Inside, High Arbiter Threx Valen stood alone. Tall, composed, dressed in ceremonial black robes with silver trim, his expression calm, but his eyes sharp with anger. Jace stepped forward. "It's over, Threx. The galaxy knows." Threx turned, slow and steady. "The galaxy forgets quickly. Truth is weak without control. And I control the council. You used Earth. You used us all. I preserved order," Threx replied. "Order requires sacrifice. Your kind should be proud." Jace took a step closer. "Proud? We were treated like fuel. Like animals. You think that's order?" Threx's voice rose slightly. "You are outnumbered. Outgunned. You can't win." "I don't need to win," Jace said. "I just needed everyone to see you for what you are." Threx's face twitched. The first crack in his perfect calm. "You're a soldier," he said. "I read your file. You understand how peace is built, through control, not chaos. Join me, Jace. Lead Earth under my guidance. You'll be safe. Respected. Feared." Jace stared at him. "No," he said. "I don't want fear. I want freedom." Threx attacked. He moved fast, faster than Jace expected. A hidden blade shot from his sleeve. Jace dodged, barely, the blade cutting across his jacket. They fought across the wide chamber, Jace with fists and quick strikes, Threx with skill and rage. It wasn't a clean fight. It was brutal, full of grunts and broken breaths. Jace landed a punch that sent Threx crashing into a console. Sparks flew. Threx struggled to rise. Jace stood over him, breathing hard. He raised his weapon. Threx looked up. "Kill me. Show the galaxy what you really are." Jace paused, his finger on the trigger. Then, slowly, he lowered the weapon. "No," he said. "You'll live, and you'll watch everything you built fall." He turned away. Back in the broadcast room, the fight was over. The guards had fallen. Lyra and Des were bruised but alive. Mako sat on the floor, the backup drive clutched in his hands. Jace returned, blood on his shirt, but standing tall. "It's done," he said. "The whole galaxy saw it." Lyra whispered. "Other planets. They're rising. Protests, revolts, even council members turning." Des smiled. "Guess the reckoning finally came." Outside, across the stars, millions of beings saw what had been hidden, and change began. The stars looked different now. From the surface of Earth, they didn't just shine. They pulsed with a new energy, one built from courage, rebellion, and truth. The galaxy had changed, and it started with one stolen ship, one stolen broadcast, and one man who refused to needle. Jace Orion stood on the roof of a government tower in New Nairobi, watching the sky. The city below buzzed with life. People moved freely. Flags of resistance waved on buildings. A council patrol ship, once feared, now lay grounded and repurposed for transport. The Galactic Council had not fallen completely, but it had cracked. Their tribute system collapsed first. Planet after planet refused to pay. Armed uprisings broke out across key sectors. Old Council allies turned away, no longer willing to stand beside corruption. The tribunal station, the one Jace and his team had infiltrated, was abandoned. Its halls now echoed with silence. Jace had returned home, but he carried the weight of the galaxy on his shoulders. Inside the tower, Lyra Tanaka worked beside Earth's new leaders. She had helped build a secure communications network, free from council surveillance. She smiled more now, but still kept her tools close. There was always work to be done. Des Raum trained new defenders, young fighters who wanted to protect, not conquer. He was gruff, impatient, but when he spoke, they listened. He still wore the same scratched armor, a reminder of battles fought and survived. Dr. Mako Elan had taken charge of the truth. He archived the stolen council files, released them to the galaxy piece by piece. His voice, once soft and quiet, now reached millions. He told stories, real ones, of lives saved, not lost. And the girl they rescued, her name was Aya. She lived in a new home near the coast. Safe, she ran with other children, laughed, played, and sometimes visited the base. She called Jace Captain, even though he never wore the title. Jace walked through the heart of the city later that day. People nodded when they saw him. Some saluted. Others just smiled. But Jace didn't need praise. He had done what he came to do, not for glory, but for peace. At the edge of Unity Square, he saw a group of kids flying drones, built from scrap and imagination. They zipped and spun through the air, laughing as they raced. Jace smiled. It reminded him of old dreams, of the way things were before the council, before war, before tribute. That night, he returned to the old Reckoner's base. It was quiet now, clean, a museum in the making. He sat alone in the main room. On the wall was a new mural, a painting of a young girl reaching for the stars, her feet on solid ground. Area. He reached into his pocket and pulled out the small, faded photo of his sister. "I kept my promise," he whispered. He stood, turned off the lights, and stepped outside. The wind carried voices, music, and hope. Above him, the stars watched silently. This time, they saw a free Earth.